Hey guys, we are just live right now from an emergency meeting. It's gonna happen in just a few minutes to start it. And how many minutes? 12 minutes. Let's go. 12 minutes. What the fuck?
In the year 456 atop Wudon Mountain, a fierce storm struck. I was awoken by a crack of lightning, which tore a small storage room in half. The high winds screeched as they whistled throughout stone pillars. Nobody would dare leave their room for fear of Master Po's punishment, yet every student was awake. The following morning at 5 a.m., I left for exercise as usual. The rain had cleared, and the devastation was obvious. The temple was damaged badly. Master Po was unusually cheerful and came out to greet us as we stood in crane position. "Excuse my happy mood," he began, "but I have no concern for the work you will have to do to repair the temple. The rain did damage. However, I am very happy for all the water we now have to drink. Students can give me work, but they cannot give me water." He was standing on the stairs above, looking straight ahead into empty sky, as if waiting for a reply of some kind from someone. The temple was many thousands of years old, and none of us were skilled craftsmen. So I began to speak. "But Master, we don't know how to put the temple back together." His face remained exactly the same, yet somehow it went from happy to furious. Without a single change in expression, he looked the same, but he was different. I could feel it. He slowly descended the stairs while looking straight ahead. Slowly, step by step, until eventually coming to a stop directly in front of me. He remained still for a few seconds before leaning forward and whispering in my ear, "Do you know my name?" I was slightly confused and very scared. I tried to hide the tremble in my voice. "Yes." With his mouth still an inch from my ear, he continued, "Do you know that I am a master of the 7 Wudon styles? Do you know that I kill at will?" I began to cry. I nodded my head. "Yes," I replied. He then turned around and climbed the stairs back to his original position. He ordered us to fetch tools and begin to repair the damage. 75 years later, the temple was as if never damaged. Every item repaired. Every student now a skilled craftsman. Such is the way of Wudon.
Nice. JWaller, Tristan, Tate,
Welcome to the emergency meeting broadcast. Joined by some prestigious colleagues of mine.
Prestigious?
I don't know that.
Yeah. Here we go.
I'm just second feed. Yeah, guys, I received my first news from a woman, attractive woman. Make sure to go check this video on Rumble or YouTube at your life. And there's a lot of instructive and knowledge that you can learn from it. So, that's it.
Okay, so here we are. Tig, what would you have to drink? Whiskey?
All right, give me that trash Johnny Walker in.
All right, let's do it.
Wait, time out. Whole show stopped. Show stopped for an announcement. My new product, Johnny Walker pre-workout.
This is not your product.
Johnny Walker Blue. Yes, it is.
It isn't.
Yeah, I trademarked it today.
This company's over 160 years old and has the royal seal of approval.
Don't care.
You don't even know what that means. Before we start, we want to introduce ourselves because two of the faces here may be not as familiar as mine and my brothers. My name's Tristan Tate. My pronouns are he, him.
Yeehaw. Ye and haw are pretty good pronouns.
They're good pronouns, bro.
Mine are top and G, of course.
Yeah, clearly.
What a confusing fucking way to introduce yourself. I'm Tig, aka Tig Budo.
There you go.
His pronouns are Armenian.
I'll take that.
Armenian.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the only one not drinking also, so
Obviously.
I'm going to be the voice of reason like I usually am on these
I
broadcasts.
used to have fun on these.
Remember when podcasts used to be good? So,
Best podcast ever.
you are the voice of reason. You want to get started by why our friends are
It's
even
the
here?
strongest here.
Because obviously we're under house arrest.
Myself?
Why would you two fly all the way
Maybe.
across the world to sit on house
Maybe
arrest? I think that's a good starting question, Justin.
TMCJ. Take me to jail, bro.
You can't say that.
Stole it. I know. They taught me that this week. So, yeah, why wouldn't I fly over here to see you guys? You've been in jail, and I miss really, really bad jokes that I can't say on the internet. And so there was only one thing to do, is come over here and tell those jokes and talk some trash and have fun and train all week. So
House arrest really isn't that bad, is it?
Everyone's saying the mics aren't working besides mine. They can hear you, but quiet.
You can hear me or not?
They say they can hear me, but everyone else is quiet.
Not
Are you
true.
sure? Yes.
That's what the chat is saying.
You're going to ask me to Mr. Producer this because I don't have a clue.
I guess so.
Everything should be working.
I see little sound bars here.
Test,
Should be
test,
working.
test.
Everyone's saying only me.
Testing. All right, well, here's what we'll do.
Okay.
We'll do what I normally do, which is this, and try and fix it.
That's fine.
Did I fix it? The chat has to tell us because, of course, the chat is the ultimate feedback. Just let us know if I've actually fixed it for everybody or not. So everybody say something and we'll let you know it's fixed or not.
I'll tell you in a second.
Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
Fixed. W, yes, fixed, working.
Yep.
Test.
Yep.
Okay, so Bailey tried to sabotage our stream, clearly.
always Bailey.
Yeah, it would be Bailey, wouldn't
Oh,
it?
bulletproof.
So let's start that again. Justin, why would you fly all the way across the world to see your friends who are under house arrest and can't leave their house?
I'll tell you my favorite line from any movie ever was in Tombstone. There's a shootout in the lake. Doc's sick, right? And after the gunfire and the smoke clears and everything, the dude comes down. He's like, Doc, why would you help him fight? He goes, because he's my friend. And the dude goes, I got a lot of friends. And Doc looked him straight in the face and said, I don't.
So I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that very much. I've never even seen that movie. Now I want to watch
You've
it.
never seen Tombstone?
No,
Never.
bro, it's one of the best movies ever.
You got to see Tombstone.
He's sick. He's dying. And he goes to gun battle. And the dude's like, I got a lot of friends. He looks him dead in the eye and said, I don't. So
If you have a lot of friends, you don't have any friends. I think most people know that. And obviously, we're very glad to have you guys here. And welcome to House Arrest. I hope you have fun. But it's more about who you're with. It's about the company more than the situation. And we all know that. So that's how life works.
So, Tig, why are you here?
Well, my plan was foiled to break you out of jail, so I had to come down here. The moment I could get the green light, I was here because that's what brothers do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now Justin's mic is off, apparently.
Test. Is it just going to have to
Bro,
work it
the
out?
mic is not
Ginger's mic
off.
is bad.
It's
How about
just
this?
people talking with
Let's put
different
this here.
volumes.
In the middle of
Right.
us. Cool. And we'll both talk this way.
Exactly the same.
Problem solved. So, Tristan, you had some very interesting insights about a submarine. You said something about how you had to start the show with a submarine.
Yeah, no, listen. I feel like the submarine is definitely a talking point worth mentioning because everybody on the internet is
Yeah,
laughing
like 12
at
minutes.
these millionaires who died in the submarine. Now, I know that I'm half black, and black people don't do stupid stuff like submarines and oceans and mess with shit like that. So I myself would not have gone in it. But let me tell you people at home a little something, because you've all upset me very, very much.
Yeah, my video
Everyone's
isn't
laughing at these
uploaded yet,
videos
though.
when he's saying, oh, look, it's experimental. Oh, look, I'm using this stupid controller. Oh, look, there are holes drilled into the side of it to hold the screen. It's experimental. Why did people get in it? If you have taken the experimental COVID vaccine, you are in no place to laugh at the millionaires who died. And let me tell you something.
Sure.
It's the people on the far left who are saying, "Oh, this is hilarious because they're millionaires and they deserve it," etc. It's the people who pumped their veins full of untested vaccine, which was not approved. No one knew what it would do to you. It was experimental. They're the ones laughing at the millionaires for getting an experimental sub. That's just stupid. Come on.
I do think that's one of the most terrifying things. I understand why it gripped the nation, the idea of being stuck at the bottom of the ocean with no way out. That would actually be genuinely terrifying. What would you do? What would you do in your last 2 days sitting down there in the freezing cold and the pitch black?
Booze 30. For sure.
There's no.
What else are you going to do?
I'm not sure they had booze.
And what if they didn't have booze? What's the answer?
Pray.
As a man, I like to try and think there's always a way out. Well, there's no way out, is there?
There's no way out. There's no out.
There's no Aikido? I racked my mind, my superhuman brain. I couldn't find some submarine Aikido to somehow get out of there. I'd just be stuck and die.
Yeah.
There's two ways to look at it. If there's actually truly no hope and you know for the fact there's no hope, I'd want the best tour of the Titanic ever known to man. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's Jack? Like, I'd want to see the whole squad. But if not, I'd just try to get out.
Yeah, well, the whole thing exploded and everyone died immediately. So that didn't actually happen. They weren't actually stuck. Because people here are trying to correct us like we don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know.
So the question is, would you rather have 2 days and know when you're going to die or just die in 10 seconds?
That's actually a very good question because people think it would be easy to just die instantly. But I think if the choice came, you'd choose those 2 days just for the extra consciousness. I don't think it's as easy as people would pretend it is to choose.
I feel like you could make your peace with God in 2 days. I've got a lot of apologizing to...
Family?
No.
Yep.
There was no communications.
Bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. You know what really sucks? I heard one of them, the kids didn't even want to go. It's like a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He only went because his dad was obsessed with the Titanic.
Yeah, he's like, it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
It's a rough one.
It's risk reward. I personally don't understand it. There's a lot of things people do that I don't understand. The thing that doesn't make sense to me about the submarine thing is that you go all the way down there in a submarine just so you can view the submarine through a TV screen.
Yeah.
Because you're in a submarine.
Yeah, you can see that from the internet.
Yeah, you should, like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's, okay, I'm here right now, but are you? I don't know. It never really made sense to me, but the ocean doesn't make sense to me in general.
But James Cameron did it, and that looked fun. The way he did it actually looks fun. But then
It's not available yet, guys.
He said the last thing we should ever be worrying about is the structural integrity of the submarine. Like, some of his shit went wrong, but it wasn't going to collapse. But then James Cameron is, I don't know, richer? Well, I guess he's not, is he? Certainly more experienced. Well, he did the smart thing. No matter what happened, he must have had the right backers behind him. So, speaking of things we wouldn't do, as a black man, Andrew, what do you not do that white people love doing? Because it's true. Every black person I've spoken to is like, I'm not getting in the submarine. I'm like, yes, that's true. I'm not even a very good swimmer. So I don't care what people say. One of the only differences between white people and black people is black people don't like doing white people shit, like jumping out of planes and fire breathing and all that nonsense.
Marcel once said to me, he said, being black is already an extreme sport. So I don't need to do extreme sports.
This is just such a dangerous conversation for me. So,
although I must admit, like, 'cause my family's half white, half black.
Yeah. I've
never seen the black side of my family surfing or going in the ocean or jumping out of planes or paragliding or diving with sharks. I've never seen any of that. It's just it's what white people love to do for some reason. So, Justin, explain yourself. Why do you like to dive with sharks?
I've never dived for sharks. You know what I think it is? Growing up how I grew up, we didn't have that option either. So I think it's a socioeconomic thing. A lot of people can afford to go in a tank in the bottom of the ocean or skydive.
You, sir, are wrong, and I'm going to correct you because just yesterday you were telling me stories about going on riverboats and grabbing alligators where there are snakes and trying to grab bullfrogs, and that's white people shit. Even though you don't have the budget to do the submarine shit, so explain yourself.
Yep.
It's just fun. Like, it's fun.
So that's in a bateau, asshole. In a bateau. Single little engine.
Okay.
Catching frogs with my hands is not skydiving and it's certainly not going in a fucking submarine.
I bet diving with sharks is actually very expensive.
Absolutely. It's gotta be. Well, the scuba diving in general is expensive, I've heard.
Who pays money for this?
Bro,
you'd have to pay me. The amount of things people do that they'd have to actually pay me to do. You'd have to pay me good money to go to a festival.
Yep.
Andrew, you're going to go stand around with a bunch of peasants surrounded by a bunch of druggies. Everyone's sweaty. Anyone can have a blade and stab you at random to listen to the same songs you listen to on YouTube. You're going to pay us. No, sir. You're going to pay me.
This is going to piss some people off, but I don't like going to Mardi Gras. It smells like piss.
I don't like concerts, to be honest. Neither Disco, nothing like that. It's for losers, bro.
Everybody's drunk as sin,
Jim,
and it's too crowded. Like for what? Some fucking beads, some little plastic on a string is it's lame.
Yeah, people go on and on about it. I've never been. Am I missing anything?
No.
Okay, good. It's good to know.
I don't think I'd enjoy the American South at all. I really don't. I think the American South, the way you describe it, Justin, sounds super overrated.
You've never rocked a trailer with a Louisiana 9.
What is a Louisiana 9?
It's basically a 5 for everywhere else in the world.
Are you trying to sell this place to me?
Not particularly. You ain't coming anyway.
What super chats we got, T? See, when I'm Mr. Producer, everything's under control. You ask Tristan to do one thing, he doesn't know what's going on. Come on, T.
Justin, the podcast you do with Brandon Carter lit a fire up my ass. Cheers, cowboy. What's the best university in the world, Andrew?
Hustlers University, of course, which we can talk about at length later on. I don't like to do a big plug for. I kind of feel like we've reached a point where me even having to mention it or sell it is kind of below the product in and of itself. If you don't understand how powerful it is and you're not inside of it, then you don't deserve to be inside of it. You can just stay outside.
If you don't get it, you should take a submarine ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your mansion reminds me of Tong Po's compound in Kickboxer 4. LOL. Stay strong. Peace and love to all your friends and family. Hi, Tates. I made $50K in the real world. Yeah, we know.
Read out.
Hi, Tates. I made $50K as a 15-year-old in 7 months in the real world in the copywriting campus. What would you recommend that I do with this money? All right, what do you recommend a young man does if he has $50K?
Well, he's only 15, so he's too young to join the war room. But if you have the financial stability to not have to worry about paying the bills, then at the age of 15, you need to be training. That's when, I don't know, how old were you when you started martial arts, Tig?
I was 13, and that was a life changer. It excelled my life in more ways than one.
Absolutely, yeah. You're a young man. You have all the energy you're ever going to have. You have Wolverine-like healing abilities, and the last thing you want to do is set yourself up for a life of laziness. So if you're 15 and you don't have to worry about keeping the lights on, you need to train. You should be an animal. Wasn't Mike Tyson like world champion at 17 or 18? Something crazy.
19 world champion, youngest ever.
Yeah, so you're behind, young man. You got plenty of work to do.
To quote the great Roger Mayweather, you don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah, seems so.
Clearly.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
But yeah, it's kind of amazing to me that especially men sit and wonder, like, what do I do in this situation? The answer to most problems as a man is always going to be to work harder. And the harder you work, the more likely you are to move the mouse.
Bro, I'm telling you, that's what happened to me yesterday.
Ah, okay.
See, so it's actually going to freeze for a second. So you're going to have to repeat yourself.
Cool.
It's going to freeze.
In most situations in life, regardless of whether you're 15, 25, 45, the answer is usually to work harder, and there's always something to work on. And a lot of that is going to be, of course, your finances, your network, but your physicality. There's no such thing as too strong. You can never finish the gym. You're 15, you do start training. So I'm glad you've made a little bit of money. It's not that much, but it's good for a 15-year-old, and obviously I'm proud of you. You're following the campus and you're working hard, but you have plenty of work to do because when you become 18 or 19, you need to be an animal. You need to be strong. You need to be formidable and fearsome.
Someone asked Tig's origin story. Like this is a video game or something.
Come on, Tig. Origin story. Make it good.
All right, gentlemen. I was a young lost soul, like many of you probably watching this. Obviously joking. I went to the gym for years, which made me a formidable opponent. And from there, I joined the war room, much like many of you can follow this path. And that will excel your life in every possible avenue that you choose. That's why I highly suggest you guys get involved as soon as possible.
Yeah, we all met through the worm, didn't we? We all met through the worm. And
I said, Tig, lean into the mic a bit more. That black mic.
Test.
Just lean in a bit.
Yeah, we all met through the war room.
Should be a habit for him.
And the goal of the war room was to find more brothers. That was the original goal of it for me and Tristan, and I think we've done a pretty good job. I mean, we've ended up with Tigrin, a psycho with a mohawk, and Southern Mr. G.I. Joe. But we're doing all right.
Andrew, share your microphone with Tig because they're seeming to have problems.
Sure.
Microphone sharing.
Sure.
And two,
where's Bailey?
Tig, this is a super chat from a guy who calls himself Wiston Wait. Why do you look like Zangief from Street Fighter?
Well,
I didn't make that up. It's
long
real.
lost relative of mine, so I'm mini low carb Zangief right now. I got the chest hair to back it up, all the above.
E Honda would beat Zangief though. Everyone knows that.
Fuck no, never.
Back me up, Justin. E Honda beats Zangief every single time.
Maybe I'm eating.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I was talking earlier. You could argue that there's 4 Street Fighter characters sitting at the table.
We have Zangief. I can be
guys,
awesome.
it's live on you in Facebook. If you want to check it, Rumble is not.
Ryu. He's a darker Ryu.
Is he Ryu?
Not on YouTube. If you want to check my first nude that I received from a woman and the insights from it, and what should you do? If that happened to you, if you are improving, becoming massive, go to my Facebook, to Art and Tunes, and check it. Or wait, and we'll be on Rumble on YouTube.
You're Blanca because you got red hair. I'm just saying. Technically, that's the only redheaded character. Who would I be? I don't think I'm a Street Fighter.
I'm definitely Gaio, bro.
I don't think I'm a Street Fighter character. I feel like I'm not fat enough to be E Honda, but he's the best. So I would gladly be him if I could choose.
Sell the super chats.
Oh yeah, that's all super chats. They're slowly coming in. Which one of you could see the clown?
They're using our own jokes against us.
Tig, have you seen the clown that hides from gay people?
What clown? There's a clown?
He's up to speed.
Yeah, he's up to speed. Right, guys, so we're talking about how you guys came to visit us, and obviously we're making jokes about it, and we're trying to be lighthearted, etc. But I think that there's certainly a degree of bravery that comes when men are around their brothers, and I think that if you get the right group of men together, even if you get 10 of them and tell them they're all going to be blown to pieces, they'll still manage to find a way to laugh. Why do we think that is? Why do we think that's so important for life as well, and why that translates across the optimum life a man can live? Why do you think you need men around you that inspire you in that way?
Life is fun. It's not wasted with bozos. And if things are gonna go wrong, then have fun or enjoy the time that's still not. While maybe having a backup plan, if not possible, just enjoy your time with your friends.
Well, I think like what we were talking about the other day about why men don't
Huh?
enjoy having normal jobs anymore is because nobody takes pride in it. So it's like if you're gonna die, you might as well at least die with honor.
Yeah.
You know, so if your boys are down and something's wrong, you know, your life might suck anyway, or if bad things are going to happen to you anyway, you might as well have some bad things happen to you with some honor tied to it, or it's not worth doing it. So I like the honor in it.
Take that a step further. Now, we always talk about honor, obviously, being an honorable man. What does that mean when you say, like, die? Like, why would you necessarily die? It's not necessarily that I'm going to die. It's that I'm going to die defending my brothers that are willing to die for me as well. That's where that honor comes from.
Yeah, completely. And I don't know what it is, but I think there's certainly something. If you look at the most men who are miserable and unhappy today, I think that there's a few things that are lacking. You'll ask them what it is. They might say women, they might say money. But in my experience, mainly it's brotherhood. I think most men who are truly miserable don't have brothers, because if you have good guys around you and you're
Or goals, bro. If you don't have goals, if you're not fighting for a purpose every day trying to achieve it, because if you are enjoying your life without brothers, without a woman, without anything. So if you have a purpose, if you have a goal, and you are trying to achieve every day, stepping towards that, you're having fun, you're having a blast. But if you're not, then that's a problem, and most people don't. Just have the boring job, no expectations. Oh, I need a woman. You need a woman because you don't do anything fun. You don't have a purpose. If you don't, the woman will be the last thing of your honors, and that's the problem, bro. I literally ignore a girl who showed me her moves. Like literally send me a nude, and that's the video that's on Facebook, obsessing on Rumble and YouTube. And I explain why, so you can go check it there. But females are the last thing you care about if you are going towards a purpose and you want to be the best in that. So, have a purpose, have a where somewhere to go through. That's fun.
truly a team and you know you can truly rely on them and they can truly rely on you, you don't really care about much else. You can take a good group of guys and bankrupt them and dump them on a beach in the Philippines with no girls and no money, and they will still laugh, still have fun, still survive. So I think brotherhood is an extremely important thing. And the number one question I get asked all the time, and the reason I'm mentioning it is because you two guys are here. People always say, "Hey, I want better friends. You know, I want brothers like you guys have. I want to be part of the war room or whatever else." And ask me, how do I do that? So what would you say is the answer to that question? How do you become the kind of man or what do you do as a man to find friends worth having?
Well, I can actually start for a second. You meet lots of men in your lifetime, and the number one go-to to look for, I think, in identifying good people, because I've been to the bottom of the bottom and back to the top. And I think the number one go-to that I look for, it's why I still have some friends for a very long time, like Peter and Adam and those guys from Slovakia, because when I was down and out, when I was broke, when I had nothing to eat, they'd message me, "Hey man, you want to meet for a drink?" They cared about hanging out with me, regardless of everything else that I do. It's crazy how in the past 5 years, every single man I've ever met in my entire life or hung out with for 1 day or 1 week, they're all like, oh man, I'd love to catch up with you. Oh, I bet you would. Well, at my mansion, on my boat, in the jet, over here. I bet you'd love to catch up with me. But why didn't you want to catch up with me when I was down and out? So, you know who your real friends are, because when you're down, you know who's looking out for you and who's messaging you. I said this to you, actually, in prison. I said, the one thing I miss, I went 9.
Sickness doesn't touch me, although I'm like this, tomorrow we good. I first, that's what it is. And I ate a little bit of pizza today, which I shouldn't. And bread with flamingo cheese and some sweet on it. That's why I'm like this, that decision.
92 days, no women, no booze, no fun, no nothing. And when I finally got put in a room with Andrew, I was like, yeah, I missed you, man, but you know what? I miss my friends. And that's why whenever I got the chance to pass a message to someone on the phone, to tell Luke to post something on my Twitter, I was tweeting cowboy country music because I knew you'd read it. Yep. I didn't want to pass love letters to outside. I was like, no. I want Justin to know that I'm okay, because I think that your friends are the foundation you build everything on. You know, women and children and everything else in life that brings you untold amounts of joy is part of the castle you build upon the foundation. But the men are certainly part of the foundation.
Yeah. How do you get friends worth having? That's the question I'm asking our two guests. How would you say, if you're out there and you're a young man right now, you're 17, 18 years old.
I will come back, right here. Damn, I hate
You agree with everything we say. You understand that the key to your life is to find brothers who you know are going to agree with your mindset and are going to help you and you can rely on and aren't going to snake you and be good men, and you're going to combine your powers as a team and you're going to try your very best to conquer the world. What would you say are the most important things when it comes to finding other men that you can negotiate with and work with and conquer the world with? And how do you think those relationships would work overall?
I'll chime in real quick. A lot of people are looking, and a lot of people feel like they're entitled to good friendship and entitled to respect. You have to first become a person that's admirable, person that's respectable first. Yeah. For instance, one example we gave you is get your ass in the gym. Become a man that's working towards something, that's disciplined enough. Because as another man, if I see that, I'm like, oh, this man is disciplined. That means I could rely on him to follow through with something.
It's really interesting you said that. You know what?
That's the best answer I've
No, but it's really interesting you said that, because it's actually almost instant for any man out there. If you want to find friends which are hardworking and dedicated and motivated, and you want to respect them, and you want them to respect you back, go into a fight gym and learn how to fight for real. And you will have a bunch of friends who aren't afraid, who aren't cowards, who respect you, who you respect back. You'll have some of my best friends. In fact, a lot of the guys who've been visiting me this last week, anyone who's following me on Twitter, I've been sparring with, are guys I used to train with 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still coming to see me. So, yeah, that's a fantastic way, because I think if we actually psychoanalyze that, that's interesting. When men go through shared experiences, I think that's how they bond, especially if it's shared hardship. It doesn't matter if it's a football team, winning a game, losing a game, going to war, your army buddies, going to fight, your fight buddies. We have to have some kind of shared hardship to bond with. And I think that's very important. So if you're the kind of guy who avoids hardship or avoids challenges or tasks, you're going to struggle to find any kind of friends worth having in the first place.
Now, Justin, you played a little bit of football, or as we call it, soccer, didn't you? You were on the soccer team, right?
Yep, whole lot of soccer. Never changing. But to chime in on that,
your microphone's too close, I keep saying. Hold it here. It's good.
You have to raise expectations for yourself, because if you can't bring some sort of honor to the friendship, then how are you going to expect that out of the next guy? So if we're all walking down the street and one of us is weak, then we didn't bring that to the relationship in the first place. That's why I always say ethics come before you need them, you know. Or I don't want weak friends. I don't want broke friends. I don't want friends that can't get women, because in some way, somehow they'll either snake you or not show up for you in the way that you're supposed to. If I couldn't leave work, spend 20 grand on flights just to come be in prison, I haven't left the gates all week, and I wouldn't.
Correct.
I haven't left the gates all week, and I wouldn't want to. And whatever money is out there to make, I don't need it. I'd rather be here. And I think you have to have friends that can do these types of things. So to get these kinds of friends, you have to first be that kind of person that deserves that kind of, attention and love and care from another person.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So when someone says, "Oh, I'm not motivated to become strong," or "I don't really care about money," we are also saying, by extension, I don't want strong friends around me. I don't want rich friends around me.
Because you're a bad friend.
Because you're going to be a bad friend. And then you have to sit and look and understand that lone wolves don't survive. The idea of Rambo in and of itself is a fallacy. It's always going to be packs and teams that are going to survive. And if your team's going to be a bunch of weaklings like you that lack motivation, you say, "I lack motivation." You're also advertising to the world that every single one of the people you're friends with are going to lack motivation. So then what? What chance do you have, you and your dork friends with no motivation, against a bunch of motivated men?
Yeah, because I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible to have a bunch of friends who are motivated and focused and not be motivated and focused yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Peer pressure is fantastic. It works it absolutely works both ways, right? But most motivated, hardworking men are not going to want to hang around with a loser if he doesn't get his act right.
Yep. And let me add on to that. Let me tell you why you guys are behind on this is because you don't know when that person, that friend, that opportunity to be friends with somebody is going to walk in your life. I worked my ass off for years and years and years and years before I met you guys.
Yeah, it's true.
You didn't know who I was until I was there. And if I wouldn't have been ready, it wouldn't have happened. And that's why a lot of these guys, they think, "Oh, I got time." You don't have fucking time.
That's right.
You need to get to work now because you don't know when that dude's going to walk through the door. And that could have been your partner to have a business and change your whole life.
Yeah, so they say you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. You're not going to find that group of high-level killers and fall into that group and then level up. You have to be at least slightly below their level, at least close to their level for them to want to take you seriously, for them to want to hang around with you. Me and Justin have been training all day while drinking whiskey because he thinks Johnny Walker's pre-workout now.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Andrew, can you tell him that drinking's bad for him? You're the anti-drinker here. Can you have a word with my friend Justin?
He's pretty big. But
reflex, you see that?
No, but that's a fantastic point. So that's the reason I'm calling that. I got an email today about, "Hey man, I really believe that I need a strong network." If you believe it and you understand it, that's the first stage. And that's also something a lot of men at home don't understand. If I lost everything today, it would be the men I know that helped me get it all back. It wouldn't be the women I can sleep with. It wouldn't be all the cars I already have or all the status I already have, whatever. It would be the men I know when shit hits the fan that I'd be calling to try and get everything back. And that's how important it is. It's your parachute and it's your safety net. And it's also the thing that's going to keep you on top regardless of what happens to you. So if you're sitting here saying, "I don't want to be a fantastic man," then you don't want a fantastic network and you're in big trouble.
Yeah, but that's because of the man that you are, Andrew. And that's the point that I'm trying to make is that these guys, I get these messages too from guys. "Hey man, I want to join I need friends like you and Andrew and Tristan." Now look at the dude.
I want to be friends with you.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, you need to do the certain things to even have that be a consideration. And that's why I press upon you guys is it's like, you need to get to work right now because you never know when one of these guys or Tig or whoever, a guy from the war room is going to walk into a restaurant and you could have walked up to him and got his respect, but you let the hour of opportunity that happened before you met that guy slip past you. And it's very important you don't let that happen.
And men speak without speaking. I can meet somebody without saying a word, and within the first 3 seconds, I know if he's a bitch or not. Everybody knows this is how men operate. We instantly can analyze somebody and see if they have value or not. It's something that's almost instinctual that you can't explain. So the easiest way, I have a lot of people ask me, "Hey, how do I come across as high value?" Be high value. How about that? That's the easiest way to do it. Why are you trying to fake? Why are you trying to lie? And I think the world, especially as it gets more and more polarized and as things get worse and worse, especially in the Western world,
I'm gonna be real with you. If you do see more attention, you might think this is goofy, but it's true. If you do see more attention, you work out, you feel high value, like you have confidence, a lot of testosterone. That's what you need, to be honest.
It's the most important thing. I was talking to my cousin today, or Tristan's cousin, and I was talking about
I don't have a cousin.
I was talking about how the MSM's full of shit. Where do I get my news from? Well, the first place I probably get it from is Twitter, and the second place I get my news from are my friends. I see all this crap in France. I message my friends in France. I have guys everywhere like, "Hey, what's happening there? What's happening there?" I like first-hand accounts from men I trust.
Yeah. Same with Russia. Same with Ukraine. We have friends in both countries.
Yeah, I like first-hand accounts from men I trust.
Mas já trabalhar, eu será que eu amanhã de manhã por causa da hora.
Que horas é que isso?
Quarto para as 10.
Não será amanhã de manhã.
Depois ligas, achas que lembras?
Sim.
Quando tu sabes beber água assim, ligas de manhã. Esse raio que tu tens é verde.
É.
Tu tens que ir ao médico lá, tu deves estar uma infecção qualquer.
And it can be the same with absolutely anything, especially because I know they have shared values or shared worldviews to mine. If they say, hey, this is trash, or they say, hey, this is good,
I
you know what to
thought
be relied on. You can't
you-
rely on much else besides people you know who think the same as you.
That's case in point of why the war room is so important. We could go in the war room right now and need an opinion from 70, 80, like 70 countries. And you would get one not only from people on the ground, but people that you know you align with. And it's very important that people's souls align when looking at making a decision on a subject that you're not close to.
Yeah, I got a super chat for Tig here. I'm actually going to read it out. But first I want to read this one out because it was super cool. It said, hey, you and your brother inspired me to have a family. I named my first child Emery. Bro, if you send me a message on Twitter, if you prove that, I'll set up a college fund for Emery. Like, I don't know who you are. I've never met you, but if you've genuinely named your first child Emery because we've inspired you to have a family, I am personally going to set up a college fund for Emery. So send me a message on Twitter, prove it's you, etc. I know your username. I'm not going to read it out loud here. That way, it'll be easy to stop the scammers who are going to flood my inbox, no doubt, and pretend it was them. Tig, question for you. You guy says, shout out to Tig. We had a great spar in Prague. You're a great coach, an amazing guy. The question is, what do you do inside of the war room, or what do you teach? Why was this guy sparring with you?
Before we jump into that, we're talking about how to become a more high-value man. So whoever's listening right now, all of you listening right now, drop 20 push-ups. Push-ups are fucking free. Get down there, pump out some push-ups, become stronger. Because
I do my videos. I literally upload every day. Different type of workout, 15 weights. Just do it. Become bigger than these guys. I will become bigger than these guys in like 6 months. And that's not an insult, it's just facts.
you will always love yourself more because of it, and people will respect you more because of it. What do? I'm a coach. I'm a boxing coach, and that's what I do. I like to develop strong men and show them that anyone's capable of fighting like a pro. You don't have to become a pro, but every man should be able to learn the skills and fight like a pro.
Yep. Hey, one thing I want to say to that guy that sent that message, keep the money, bro, but since we're here, I don't know if I've said this on the internet yet, but I
didn't want to say it.
Yep. I named my daughter Emery. So you want to talk about brotherhood? I would not have a family if it weren't for you two. I would not be able to see it the way I see it. And I really want to find a way to make fun of you or call you a name, but I can't. So enjoy your college fund. I'll pay for my daughters. But I do know that if I die today, that the children and everybody important in my life will be taken care of. And that's the kind of friends that you want.
Here's another one I think is for you, Justin. My stepfather is addicted to weed. I help him run his construction company. I'm his business partner, but his smoking is becoming harmful to him. How do I help him quit? I'm giving that one to you because you.
Kids, junkies are junkies. Like, I have a similar problem. It's not this type of drugs. It's more food, junk food, sugars, a lot of sugars. And the person will never quit because he's a weakling. Like, people who don't have discipline and strong mindset just don't do it. There's nothing you can do about it.
For a construction company.
Yeah, I've actually dealt with this. I had my dad would smoke weed with the guys on the crew. Man, you got to cut ties, man. Either he's gonna do it, or you're gonna have to do without him, man. And more than likely, he's a technician in the business. He probably has all the field experience, but you're gonna just have to replace him. I hate to say it that way.
And even though he's your dad, I'll give you some experience based on my life. I don't know anything about construction, but even though he's your dad, I still think that men understand each other on a primal level. And if you're going to sit there and try, I don't know who you are and I don't know who your father is, but if you're going to sit there and try and tell your father what to do, you need to be a very impressive person. It's kind of amazing what kind of advice you can give out when you're an impressive person versus the advice you can give when you're not. If you're overweight yourself, or if you're lazy, if you're missing days at work, if you're barely turning up, if your dad thinks you're a shit worker, you can't sit there and tell him about anything about his life because he's not going to listen to you.
Yep.
So if you really want to have an impact on your dad, you need to be the kind of guy that can't be ignored. This is what's truly amazing about the masculine experience. I have so many people message me, and I get thousands of emails a day, and people are always looking for this hack or this cheat or this quick way to achieve something. You have to just become the man. There's no other way to really do a lot of things. But I guarantee your dad doesn't even know me. But I guarantee if I were to speak to him for 10 minutes, because of the way I would articulate myself, because of the way I would express my opinion, because of who I am, because of my physicality, because of the car I turn up in, he'd probably be more likely to listen to me than you, his own son. Why? That's your fault. And that's something you've decided to be. It's a decision you've decided to make. And this is what I don't understand. I truly don't understand how most men don't wake up and think, shit, I'm not good enough. And I think you need that degree of insecurity, I guess, and anxiety that's going to propel you towards the top because there's always more work to do. And you're competing against people like us who are out here to destroy you. And that's the reality of the game.
Hey, Tate, recently at work, I got in trouble because I was accused of sexual harassment for telling a female employee off, even though I didn't do anything wrong. I'm okay, but do you have any thoughts or suggestions to prevent this happening going forward?
That's a hard one because we don't know the truth of the scenario. But
True, you could be a sexual harasser.
I'll tell you something, though. I'll tell you something. You could.
He could be. I don't
You
know.
could be an idiot. It's very rare in life that being likable is a downside. It's very rare in life where being a likable person is going to go against you. And there's so many people out here who think if they get to a certain kind of state, arguing with to make them like me. Towards the end of it, they like me. You should be more likable. If this woman really liked you as a person, I think you would have been able to give her a small correction in her action without her accusing you of sexual harassment. So if you want to be a professional, you need to sit and say, why does this person dislike me enough to try and destroy my life?
And again, back to the same point, I know we're kind of beating the same thing in, but if you were that dude, you can take the same woman and take two different guys. They could tell that woman the same exact thing, and one will get a sexual harassment charge and the other one will get a phone number.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I have a situation where I knew that the guy slapped a girl's butt and she smiled and da da da. There's multiple situations where other guy do that and get slapped in the face or beat up or charges, and it depends on if she finds you attractive. So I don't recommend nobody doing that. But it really comes to realizing if she's attracted to you or not. And that situation was kind of random, so it was kind of hard to know. But and I wasn't there. I just heard the story. But that's definitely true. Like depends on how she feels about you. So be aware of that.
That's right.
So
A lot of y'all may think, "Oh, he does that and went well, so that let me just do the same." And this is a clue of catastrophe, and that's embarrassment.
if you're that dude and you're likable and you're witty and you have good people skills like Andrew's talking about, then more than likely you wouldn't even be in the situation in the first place.
Yeah, true. My crypto ledger got compromised for 115K last week. I'll come to the conclusion that God wanted me to suffer. How do I become a stronger man from this? I got a question recently in my inbox of a guy whose brother had gambled away $2.4 million of the family's inheritance. So his father had died and his brother had gambled away $2.4 million. His brother's 48 years old, fat, slob, gambler. And this guy was at zero. And I said to him, you know what? God has given you an amazing opportunity via your brother. Your brother has given you an amazing opportunity because obviously your father was a great enough man to accumulate $2.4 million of money after taxes, by the way, that went to you. And the fact that he got rid of it is God showing you and offering you the chance to prove yourself and to make that money back by yourself. Now, obviously, if you have a family member like that, you could cut someone off, don't do business with them, don't give them access to your bank accounts, but still love him. I mean, he's 48. Maybe he won't change in his ways, but you can still love someone and care about someone without completely cutting them off. You don't have to be cutthroat about it, Just make sure he doesn't have your debit cards. Make sure he doesn't have access to your money.
Or you can be like, you can feel however you want. If you want to be resentful, don't like the guy no more. Cut ties, that's what it is. To be honest, my brother, we have a total different mentality. I'm not gonna bash him, but I I don't have no relationship with him. To be honest, I don't truly feel like having because I realized he was directed as everything I kind of say people not to be, and every trait, and you can just cut ties to be honest. But that's me. That's me to be honest. Like I don't talk with people who annoys me, even like family members, like elders and all that. So that's me. But you can cut ties with people who are just poisonous in your life for sure, if you want.
money. You've had experiences like this, haven't you, Justin? People trying to screw you over for money in your own family.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had family do it, and I still love them. And you just have to distance yourself from them. I'll tell you something I learned one time. I did this seminar once when I was early 20s, and the question was there was an exercise, and the question was rate your relationship with your mother 1 to 10, and everybody in the room that rated a 10 was because they went to lunch twice a week, because they talked on the phone. Anybody that rated it bad was because they didn't have a lot of contact with them or whatever. The way you should rate your relationships with other people is, what is it that makes it a 10 out of 10 to you? And my answer at that time was a 10 out of 10 based off the exercise, because when I would show up, my parents respected me. I didn't talk to them as much because they had their own problems in their life, particularly my mother. But when I showed up in the room, she respected me enough to give all my siblings the heat, but would never come at me with the smoke. And so for that reason, it was a 10 out of 10. And even now, as sick as my mother is, bless her heart, my relationship with her is a 10 out of 10 because she's not there. You know what I'm saying? And I can just take that part of my life and move on. And so you have to look at your relationships with other people as, what is the relationship with you? What do you want out of the relationship? And you can make it a 10 out of 10, even if it's loving them from a distance. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's also there where you said about she doesn't want the smoke. It kind of ties back into the point I made earlier about being likable. I'm going to go back to that sexual harassment guy, because I don't believe his story, but let's just say his story is completely true. And let me ask you a question as a professional. If you were jacked, if you were in fantastic shape and you were an amazing dresser and you drove the best car in the company and you were funny and witty and charming, and every time you saw that woman, you made her laugh and she smiled when she was around you, would she have accused you of sexual harassment if you told her the same way? No. So you have to take absolute and utter accountability in your life as a man. For everything. It's all your fault. There's nobody else.
It's basic. Like, she never show any interest in you. No one, and you are just a loser who, I want to have a woman, so you're a loser, bro. Work for yourself, and they will give you the attention. If you don't, they don't. So it's useless. It's garbage if you want to go there, because they come. They don't. There's no go there. Like, you are a bummer, to be honest. Like, you just have to work on yourself. They will come. It's not you going there and you probably mess up. I don't know the situation, but it might not be. It might be or might not be. I'm not gonna accuse someone who I don't know all the facts, who barely know any, but that's the truth. Like, if she finds you attractive, the moment you say hi, she will always excited and all that. So it's very obvious. And a lot of people fake signs because they know they ain't attractive at all, and the girls don't care, bro, and you're just too desperate, like a loser, yo.
Else's fault. It's your fault. And I was literally sitting in jail with a bullshit garbage case, which I know is all imaginary, saying this is my fault somehow. You have to find out, otherwise you don't get the lesson in it. The guy who had the 2.4 million gambled, or the guy who lost 115 grand, that's your fault. Yep. Good. What have you learned from it? Have you actually learned anything, or are you just sitting there going, I wish I had it back? Because if you didn't learn anything, you lost it all for nothing, right?
Yep.
And if you did genuinely learn something, then you're going to change your life for it, because I don't think most people can learn anything unless it's painful. I've never seen people learn lessons the easy way. When someone learns a lesson the easy way, you know what they think? They think, I got away with it.
Yep.
Over and over again until it eventually burns and stings them. And that's the only time they learn. Humans only learn the hard way. So when you finally get a hard lesson, fantastic. However you lost that 115 grand, I guarantee it won't happen again unless you're a dummy. You need to pay attention to it. So you need to be happy that these lessons come. You just have to make sure you ingest them and you don't allow them to happen to you again.
Yep. And I'll add to that, one thing that's really important that keeps you in control is if you ever blame it on anything but yourself, you've now relinquished control of the situation, which means you've given up the power.
I was investing in a crypto coin. I'd asked Andrew to withdraw some money into our bank accounts, invest in this crypto coin. I was very new to cryptocurrency. Long story short, for those who will understand the jargon, I had my private key in my email inbox. A virus scanned my computer, took it, and I lost $200,000, which 6 years ago was a lot of money to me. And I shrugged, said, Andrew, I fucked up. My bad. Move on. And that kind of shit will never happen to me again. Andrew, my girlfriend lied about her body count while we dated for a few months. She doesn't want to lose me, but now I found out that it's a lot higher than I originally thought. She wants me to give her another chance. What do I do?
Yeah, dishonesty is a bad thing, but it's hard to comment. I don't know how good or bad your relationship is. The fact it started dishonestly is bad. Honestly, it depends on, of course, how you found out as well. But I people will probably notice I don't comment on dating and stuff as much as I used to.
True.
I actually think there's so many things that are a better use of time than just endlessly fucking. Maybe I'm getting old and religious. I don't know. But when I see these dudes online talking about this girl, that girl, this girl, that girl, I think that is such a waste of time. I don't even like commenting on the whole subject anymore. I've kind of moved away from it. But if she makes you happy and she shows you respect and you truly believe she's the girl for you and she treats you the way a man should be treated and you're happy, then be happy. I mean, you just have to find out why she lied to you in the first place. Maybe she was insecure about it. Maybe she understood you judge her. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. But I don't comment on that whole space anymore because I think something I don't know what's happened, but there are some guys on Twitter and some guys on YouTube, etc., that talk constantly about pickup and all these kind of things. Personally, I think I have so many important things to do. I don't have time to be endlessly sleeping with endless girls who barely know my name. I don't really give a shit about that stuff anymore.
Well, I feel like
It gets boring, to be honest. Like, all people are the same. Like, all the girls have the same different bodies, but their mental is all the same. Like, once you understand female nature, is everything the same. Like, it's pretty basic. You are straight, you are successful, you look good, you are charming, they want you, you get it. Next. It's boring, like, and it's just a body. It's just a body. You lose your energy. Waste of time.
Because I see a lot of this online, of course, and when you see it, you see dudes who are older than me by 5, 6, 10 years, no children.
My bad. Mr. Producer messed up.
Mr. Producer messed up. So I see it all the time. You see dudes 5, 6, 10 years older than me with no kids, no real family, no woman in their world who loves them, not even a close circle of friends, just going to countries in the world where women are more, let's say, susceptible to a Westerner, like South America, just marching around all day, talking to them in bars, etc., having endless sex. I feel like it's a bit... Why are you doing this? I'm trying to make a serious point about... Because I can't say anything with this guy's on screen.
Tristan,
How could I say... No, there is no point. I'll leave the emergency meeting. What the fuck is this?
Make your point.
No, because now you're officially making fun of me. You're officially making fun of me.
All right, I'll bring it back. Fear Mr. Producer. But yeah.
Can I start talking?
Yeah,
my point...
You admit that he gave you the unicorn smoke.
He gave me the unicorn smoke. I'll give him that. No, but my point is this. There is actually so much more to life. And I'll even say, I don't apologize for anything I've ever said. And I never will, because at the time I thought it was a smart thing to say. But, I've been on the internet a very long time. So when you hear me when I'm 25, 26, talk about, I did this, I slept with that girl, I went here to this party, I slept with this celebrity, and I thought it was cool. Like, it seemed cool at 25, but I want men to know that if you don't mature after a certain age and see more to life than just out chasing women, then I feel like you have a problem.
And maturing doesn't mean not sleep with girls. That's not what it means. It means that
finding value in different things,
and also making sure the girls genuinely care about you. I think once you become a high value man, the whole relationship flips, right? So a lot of these guys who are out there chasing girls are like, ha, I got this girl, ha, I got that girl. And they feel like they're winning because the girl's so beautiful and they're such a dork that they feel like they pulled off some sort of victory. But when you actually truly become a G, you sit there and go, well, who won in this exchange? Who won, me or her? How hard would it be for me to find another girl like her? And how hard would it be for her to find another man like me?
Yeah, they got me.
They win.
I didn't get them.
They won, and I still had to pay for dinner. What was the point in all of this? Sex? I can have sex anytime I want. A lot of the fun disappears, and then you try and, well, how do you rebalance that? Well, you rebalance that by the woman actually being dedicated to you and in love with you and loyal to you and care about you. I mean, I'll tell you now, when I was in jail, the women who wrote me letters absolutely every day, those are the ones I wanted to see. Those are the women I respect a lot more than a girl who's just hot and was like, oh, how was jail? Okay, so, hey, are you okay now? Can I come over? Like, things change as you grow up and you realize how important it is to have loyalty around you.
I'll tell you another thing that happens, that we were talking about this other day, not only maybe talking about that less, but we're talking about how we don't post stories when we fly private or we fly first class anymore because we've just done it so much.
Yeah.
It kind of dilutes it. Like, you kind of over it. It's kind of
Remaining the best internet. Doesn't look like it's.
I think we're
Back
back.
live again? No, we are back.
I'd like to add on to this. So a lot of you guys, I hate the girl topic because people are always complaining, oh, I can't get this girl. What do I do with this girl? But what is the rest of your life looking like? I mean, is your health in order? Are you in shape? Can you
That's why you have to have a purpose. Even this is talking. You're in shape. You have a good life. Like all these, it really doesn't matter. If you don't have a goal, like if you want to be the strongest guy alive, that's a goal. Like that's something you're gonna do every day. Work out on that. Train very hard for that. And you have a that purpose. You are looking at the distance of a great achievement, be the best, right? You want to be the most muscular. Great achievement for that, right? You want to be the fastest guy on earth. Great achievement. You want to do a lot of sprints. That's cool. That's a good mindset because every day you're thinking like, oh damn, it's night. I'm just hoping for tomorrow to get on it, to have a great train. Why do you think I do so many PRs every day? And when your mindset is, am I fit? Am I having girls? Am I financially successful? That's whack as purpose, bro. Like, what does that matter? How many millions of people have this? Everybody gets that. Not every average, but a lot of people get it. You could not count it. How many people can get that? Being the strongest, being the more muscular, being the fastest, that's number one. So that's the difference. Do you have a purpose of something you want to do in life? Be the best at? Or you're just doing like what every average dude want to have? Like, it's very simple. And I'll be honest about sex. Like, you do it once, do it three, do it 10 times. You basically identify. It's just bodies. It's not very different. Some taste better than others, but it's not nothing, bro. It's just instincts. You're literally acting on instincts. And success. You are very rich. You can go to many restaurants. Yeah. You go. There's a point where you get tired of it. Now what? What I do now? Like that's why there's so many people consuming drugs and alcohol and all that stuff because there's no purpose. They just spending the money. They don't. There's no funny and getting fit. Fit is cool, but is that the only thing, bro? Like just getting fit? For what? Like it's good for our health. Is it like if you want to be the healthiest person for me, drive fast, 1 meal a day. I want anti-age and be the best performance. So that motivate me too. But it's not just to be fit. Fit I'm already in. Like you have to have a bigger goal, bro. A bigger goal, more purpose in life. That's why y'all are depressive and stuff. And then get the stuff and see, oh, it ain't that good because it isn't. Like you have to have a way bigger goal than that. Be the best.
fight these types of things? And more importantly, how many close guy friends do you have? I've had this saying that someone told me a long time ago that completely blew my mind. If you can get a bro, you can get a hoe. A lot of you guys don't even have guy friends, and let alone looking for anything else.
Yeah, women are a fantastic side effect to unlimited success. It's very difficult to do everything right all the time in all realms and be extremely successful in all the realms a man should be successful and then still end up lonely. I think that's almost impossible, I would argue.
Yeah.
I don't even am successful financially. I'm just physically. I already have girls following me, liking my videos, sending me nudes DMs. It's true. Like if you're attractive, they already there. Like now you can see, oh, I'm
It's basically
attractive
almost
because I have some looks and some body. Maybe that's not enough. I used to be like that. It wasn't enough at all. Now I'm getting it, and I need to get huger. So you sometimes you would think it's something, but you need to go way higher than that.
Like I have to try very hard to Aikido chicks away from me. It's not the opposite. And you also have to understand, man, I say this to people all the time and people laugh when I say it. I say, if you're watching this podcast as a man, when this finishes, when you've done the push-ups Tiggs told you to do, go look in the mirror and ask yourself a very simple question. If I was a girl, would I sleep with me? And the answer is probably no. Yep. Whose fault is that? Yep. You, because she has all the choices in the world. She can choose anybody she wants. Why would she choose you? Are you really that funny and interesting and unique? Are your life stories really that cool? Tell me something you've done that no other man's ever done. Tell me something about you that's genuinely unique. And this is where a lot of my message gets confused, and especially MSM and everyone who attacks me and all this garbage. I've been told like I talk quite pessimistically, but I try and explain to men, if you want to stand out, if you want to be different, if you want to be the kind of man who can talk about himself in a way and be discussed by females in a way that other men can't be discussed, you need to go through some bullshit. You're never going to become interesting and unique and the kind of man that can't be replicated through all the happy things in your life. You can't just go to the fucking circus and eat popcorn and come out and be a G. You're a G when you've suffered. That's the reality of it. Every single man you meet who people respect, both men and women, usually has a story that makes you think, ooh, I wouldn't want to be that guy. Ouch, that would have hurt. Yep. That was difficult. That's the reality of it. So
we just went to jail.
We just went to jail in Romania for nothing. And so when you tell me something like, oh, I lost 115 grand in crypto, I actually think that's a very soft story. Fine. But what have you at least learned from that? Can you at least tell the story in a compendious and interesting way? Can you even sit down and tell somebody that story in a way which is engaging enough for them to listen to you? Do you at least have a joke out of it? Most men can't even tell a story in a funny way, bro. Something will happen to them. They can't even repeat it in a way they don't want to.
Bro, today I just grabbed two dumbbells, bro. Two dumbbells. It's 16 kilos, and I just lifted. It's funny, right? Yes, sir.
To listen to. What was the point of losing your money if you can't even tell anybody around the fucking table with some drinks and be fun about it? So what's the lessons here? You're boring. You can't talk. You're a dork. Those are the first three lessons you need to fix. Next is, why is that all the money you got? You're broke. How did it happen? You're stupid. You have a whole bunch of lessons you need to internalize, and that event could be the best event that ever happened to you to change you as a man to become the kind of person who doesn't give a shit about $115,000.
You know, the best way to fix that story is to come back with the story of how you fixed it and made twice the money back.
100%.
But also you can make someone laugh when they do it. Right now, I lost 150 grand off the top of my head. Right now, Tig asks me, who is Armenian? How did you lose 150 grand? I'd be like, well, Armenian hackers got me, but, Armenian women are hot. I didn't even get any nudes for the money. Like, I've been pestering them. But, you can make it funny. You can laugh at yourself a bit if you're man enough to not bitch about it and not moan about it. I make jokes about being in jail. I was in jail for 3 months. I'm like, oh, Justin, I was in jail. Like, nobody wants to hear that. Me and I'd have a very good saying. What do you want? Therapy? When people start moaning about things, oh, well, I was in jail. What do you want? Therapy? Yep. Like, you're telling me in a sad way, what do you want me to do? Lay down on the couch and stroke your head? No. You got to get over it.
So God gives you these chances to suffer so you can level up your character. But I'll often tell you, most of you people at home, which are complaining that your life is difficult, I'll actually argue that most of your lives are too easy. Even though that God gives you these chances to level up and God gives you these difficulties, most of you, 99% of you, need to adopt more difficulty yourselves. I mean, you need to wake up and find more struggle yourself if you truly want to be a fierce competitor.
Yep, you got to find pain.
You had $115,000? Up until 7 years ago, you told me that story, I'd have no sympathy. Oh, I had $150,000. I lost it. I was like, bro, I get mad if I lost a 20-pound note around the house. I'd be lifting up couch cushions and everything. Ooh, those were the good old days, Andrew. Those are the good old days.
Absolutely. And this is where, again, it goes back to leveling up your character and your network and who you are as a man. You had that money in the bank. Your bills were obviously paid. Did you at least use that time to become fearsome? Did you at least use that time to become the kind of man who can wear a normal ass t-shirt but still look like Hercules? Because if you didn't, then you wasted the money anyway. That's exactly what you should have been doing as bare minimum standard. That's bare minimum.
Because now you're fat and out of shape and you're broke.
Yep. And I would argue you have an opportunity to be very, very, very happy. I was just as happy when I was broke.
40 kilos.
Felt happy climbing and trying to get somewhere. I had this vision of where I wanted to go. That shit should be fun to you. If you can't get excited about the man you're going to become, you're
You
in
will-
deep shit.
That's the best motivation in the world.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
And there's a
It's
sense of
that bigger.
contentment that comes from doing the things you're supposed to do. It doesn't even people say it's the journey, not the destination. That's true. But I wake up and if I have a day where I've worked as hard as I can, I've trained and done all the training I'm supposed to do, I've spoken to all the people I'm supposed to speak to, I've
And
eaten
still
right, I've done everything.
smell. Now what is this? He's not. I'm just gonna not say it.
Right. I feel happy just from doing the right things. You do the right things over and over again, you're going to end up in the right place. It's all building blocks. You should feel good from just doing the right things regardless, and you'll end up there on accident. Life is actually very easy to succeed in. And I get all the questions we've been asked so far today and all the questions we get asked in general are basically different versions of the same question. How do I achieve X? And the answer is always going to be hard work. It's always going to be the sentence and the saying I use over and over again that people think is a joke. Unmatched perspicacity and sheer indefatigability. The ability to pay attention, notice things, and never quit. That's all it is. Pay attention, notice things, and never give up. And if you do that, you're going to succeed. It is so easy to be successful in life. When I meet a person who's not successful, I have to analyze, why did this guy decide to quit? What was more interesting to him than being the man he could have been? Was it food? Was it that one chick who broke his heart and just ran him around for years? What was it that distracted him from his life purpose of being something that mattered?
Weed, porn,
garbage. And then,
Yeah.
and then in the end, you only end up sad. All these temporary happinesses, they don't last long. You can have temporary happiness for what? A day? A week? You can eat cake. It'll make you happy for 5 minutes. If that. You can't delay gratification to have genuine happiness. All genuine happiness has to be delayed. It has to be, you have to go through the pain first.
You know, there was a saying in the
True.
1970s that got banned because it doesn't really apply to men, but we can translate it a little bit.
True.
Supermodels used to say,
True.
nothing tastes as good as slim feels. And if you just extrapolate it into the male experience, it's very, very true. Jerking off lowers your testosterone level, lowers your muscle density, lowers your bone density eventually. And everyone's like looking for these instant gratifications, but there's no comparison. There's no feeling like being on top of the world. There just isn't one.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
Being the
So everyone at
strongest.
home in the chat, I want you to tell us what you are doing right now in your life to adopt struggle on purpose.
Simmer attention. 1 meal a day. Drive fast for more than 16 hours or 16 hours. Working out every day. Sprinting every day. Running every day. Doing PRs every day. More. Posting 2 videos every day. Posting 3 shorts, 3 TikToks, and 3 Instagrams every day. Not eating sugars. Not smoking. Not drinking. Yes.
What are you doing that makes your life more difficult? And how is it you going to benefit as a person once you've succeeded or once you've destroyed that challenge? That'd actually be interesting to see what people say.
Now, Tig, you just got here, but I'm getting lots and
Well,
lots of
what you
questions
will
about
do.
this. But this is more for Andrew and Justin. I won't answer. I'll let you two chime in. What is Tucker Carlson like? Because Tucker Carlson was here at this house.
I'll tell you when I knew Tucker Carlson was a G.
I mean, I've known for a long time, but
I've known, but he went past what I thought. We're in the hallway. He had just got there. He's like, guys, I got to take a leak. The bathroom was taken. I said, well, we've been pissing on that tree outside for a week. And he goes, perfect. And ran outside and peed on tree.
that's a true story.
Fox News, 30 years. He's like, where's the tree?
G, yeah.
Bro, he's a G.
Down to earth.
Yeah, man.
Bro, that's being man, really. I'll be honest, this is not the most frightful story. I don't know if I should tell this, but when I was young, I was really drunk and I literally pissed in a place that was very like open. I was very drunk in the day. Mm, yeah, like not the smartest person at that age. I climbed a place where all was like nature and peace. Two girls was waiting for me. They was watching me. They all left. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but that's what we do. Like if you need peace, just go a place that is natural and not destroying or making smelly. And, but yeah, don't do that where I live, but in a public. But yeah, it was a nature place, was not a public place. So
down to earth, easy to talk to,
Smart,
real,
knows his shit.
Bro. Yeah, it inspired me. You know, the other day, I didn't tell you guys this. The other day, when y'all were sitting there talking about geopolitics and everything, let me look. I can prove this right now. Terms. I have 41 terms I wrote down that I'm going to study from that conversation.
Jesus.
Bipartisanship.
Yeah. Warren Buffett.
Yeah. All this stuff.
Yeah.
Legislature.
DOJ, no way, bro.
All of it.
So you were making notes during our conversations.
Yeah. Just sitting there listening to y'all talking. I'm writing it all down. I'm Googling it all on the plane ride on the way home because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get yourself around people that know a bit more than you and then dig into it so you can become better. And that's why, case in point, why to join the War Room.
Yeah,
I had not traveled outside the United States very much before the War Room.
Yeah,
I did 15 countries just last year. I have stories from all over the world that I would not have had otherwise if it weren't for the War Room and the group of leveling me up, giving me more consciousness. And that's why you need to be working on your battle on the way up, but looking for more consciousness all the time. And you got to get around people like the people in the War Room to find out what that consciousness might be so you can have the next thing to work on.
And I like that about you. It's about knowing yourself. And I know what I don't know. And I think that's a very important skill as a man. But when it comes to geography and world travels, I'll say things like, oh, I was in Istanbul. And you'll be like, where? Where on a map is Istanbul?
Yeah.
And you'll maybe
but I'll go look it up
and show you.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to know what you don't know. And there's not a single friend that I have, whether it be you, Tig, Alex, Bailey. There's not a single friend I have that doesn't know things that I don't.
Right.
Because otherwise, why do you have a friend? I mean, this is a conversation specific to a female, but I remember there was a woman I was dating a few years ago, and she said to me once, she said, Tristan, I like you loads. I really like hanging around with you because we have very interesting conversations. And I said to her, I said, no, we don't have very interesting conversations. I just tell you stuff. It might be interesting to you.
But you know why she likes you because of that? Because she feels like she's growing.
And she was a very nice girl.
And she feels like she's growing when she's around you.
Would I hang around with a man who doesn't know anything and can't tell me anything new?
Would she listen to the same conversation from some nerd? No. So it's not even just about what you say. It's who you are as a man. And that's the same with absolutely everything. It's the same with everything. The reason we all respect each other's opinions on so much is because we respect each other at a base level. So if you're not going to be the kind of man who's respectable on a base level, you have to decide to go through life with no opinion. This is what is monumentally mind-blowing to me when people say, I lack motivation. How can you lack motivation to exist? If you don't have an opinion that anyone cares about, and if women don't want to sleep with you, and you're basically invisible, and you can't find any friends worth having, why do you even wake up? How can you lack motivation to be a person that even matters on the planet? You'd rather just be a fucking ghost, a nobody?
Yeah.
Because what, the gym is hard? Isn't it harder to be a nobody your entire life than
exactly,
a little
bro.
bit?
Yep.
I just did a video today about don't just consume, act on it. Exactly about this. Stop being a lazy ass, bro. Just it's horrible to be average, to be a loser. Just work on. Watch the video, bro.
It blows my mind.
Well, I hit Tig up the other day. Even Tig, we were walking, and there was a news report with a Russian accent, with a Russian flag, asking us things for the Russian news. I said, Tig, they're going to come at me again next time I go to court. What do I say? Vpravda vidit naruzhu. Everything will be revealed in time. So, like, I'll be like, yo, Tig, how do I say this in Russian? And he kind of saved our life one time in Russia. I'm not even going to say exactly what happened, but let's just say he almost saved our life. Yeah, that was in Ukraine. And because everyone speaks Russian in Odessa, certainly. Yep. And, he saved us from a setup. Yep. And we were there to make sure that the setup didn't happen. And we were 5 moves ahead just because Tig had his ears open. And knowing Russian isn't enough, by the way. He could have been, jacking off, talking, not listening, being perspicacious, as Andrew always says, saved us from walking into a setup in Ukraine.
What are the people saying in the chat about how they're making their lives difficult on purpose? Super chats or the chat?
People are spamming it right now in Russian, saying I'm doing 300 push-ups. Russian. I don't know what it means.
Let me add on to this. First of all, none of you motherfuckers have any excuses not to be leveling up right now. You have 3 top-tier 0.001% men here saying every day they work hard, every day they're trying to learn, every day they're trying to get better. So what is your fucking excuse? You have none. So because of that, everyone listening right now, you can multitask, 50 push-ups, go.
Absolutely.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Tag me in the videos, by the way. Tag me on the videos on Twitter of you doing 50 push-ups.
Yeah, we'd like to see push-ups, etc. I was actually attacked for that, which shows the Matrix itself is so desperate for men to be weak and stupid that even if you teach people to just train and work hard, they don't
have
that.
this pain, this huge pain on my muscles from my chest from lifting 18 kilos and 16 in flies. So, and 8 kilos seated like this. I have the video. You might saw it and train it or in shorts. So, better than push-ups.
They think that's somehow misogynistic and evil.
More
That's how
results.
weak. That's how weak they want you to be.
Because women should train and be in shape too.
Everybody should. It's not even a gendered argument, but they want you to be weak because it's impossible to build your body without building your mind, and they want you to have a weak mind so that you can be
If
programmed.
somebody's not attractive, they don't get no fun.
Just like
Wake up.
That is going way too fast.
there's loads of super chats. I see.
There's loads
Read
of
them
super
out.
chats. Okay. Thanks for everything you do. Top G. I have, hey, I'm 21 years old. My mom left at 12. My dad is poor. I live alone and I pay the rent. I train every day. I have no real family and no real friends. What do you advise me to do?
I don't know if you train every day. If you're 21, you're training every day. Why haven't you made money fighting yet? How hard do you train? I don't like. You can talk to me about this. I think there's a huge difference between training and exercise. Let's talk about the difference between training and exercise because they are very different things. I'll let you go.
You hit a bag. Congratulations, you did a workout. Okay. Yeah. Are you actually training? Are you actually in between that, studying the craft to actually compete and get better and be able to pull this out when someone's trying to attack you? Probably not. And on top of that, believe me, there's so many things you need to learn and you have no time. So you should be doing so much. I train, okay, maybe once a day. How many more times can you train during the day? How many more hills can you run? How many more push-ups can you do? All that shit is free. Don't give me any excuse.
Yeah, of course. And have you set a deadline? Have you said in 3 months' time I'm going to meet this guy in the ring and fight him? Because that's without the deadline. Then there's no instinct. There's no incentive for you to truly push yourself beyond your limits. You need a deadline. You need to find a place where you put it all on the line. What was I saying earlier about men who were respected at some point did something dangerous? If it was guaranteed for you to win, then fighting wouldn't be respected. The reason it's respected is because you take the risk of losing. That's the whole point. But that's how it works with everything in life. If it's guaranteed to pull off, nobody's interested. You have to take that risk in the first place. That's the only way you get respect. Respect lies on the other side of fear. So if you're 21, you're saying you live alone, you pay the rent, blah, 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 but I train every day. If you trained every day like I was training every day at 21, you'd be a world champion soon. So I would argue you don't even train.
I'm not going to answer this one. I think this one is more for Tig and Justin because you probably experienced this. Hi, guys. I've lost many friends, male and female, for supporting you guys. They're always trying to back up the lies and silence the truth. What do I do? Have you lost any friends from...
Good. Now you'll find the best one. Like they've just helped you out. They've gotten out of your life. Good. Now keep driving forward, keep striving. You'll find the one that fits you and you'll live a prosperous life.
Anybody that thinks they have more than a handful of friends probably don't have any friends at all.
Yeah, that's true. And any of your friends who are going to instantly adhere to the slave mine program are going to be dangerous friends to have because right now it's about Andrew Tate being a bad guy.
They are enemies, bro. They literally are enemies. You are next. If the Matrix decides you are next, and they will go against you too. And even if the Matrix doesn't come, maybe they just get jealous and go attack you, bro. Like for real. Real life experience. Fake friends not worth it, no. Matrix friends not worth it at all.
Guy, okay, whatever, no big deal. But later it'll be about getting this injection or getting this vaccine or doing something you're not supposed to do, and they'll be peer pressuring you. I don't know if you guys saw recently, rest in peace. There was the guy, it was Joe Aesthetics.
Joe Aesthetics, Joey something, yeah.
And he had 8 million followers on Instagram, and he's 30 years old, and he just dropped dead. And he's on a lot of steroids, but he's saying that he got peer pressured into taking the vaccine. Four times he got peer pressured into it, and now he's literally dead. So what did we talk earlier about peer pressure and how important it is for it to be pushing you in the correct direction? And I think that your friends as a man, especially...
I'm going to be honest, I have a lot of people peer pressuring me to take that. Multiple people, family, friends, not even friends. I don't really. It's what they say. Like I don't consider friends people. I just hang out. But a lot of people, right? And I didn't took it. If you go by peer pressure, bro, you're weak. Like you're soft. We all go sometimes, but there's a point where it's like, nah, you have to take your own decisions. Put yourself first. It's how it is, man.
Should be at least inspiring bravery in you. You should at least, when I'm with my guys, I feel brave. It doesn't mean I'm reckless. It doesn't mean I'm stupid, but I certainly feel brave because I know how competent they are and I know they have my back. So it's hard for my friends to peer pressure me into an act which is guided by cowardice. Like, taking an injection, for example. That's cowardice. It's very hard for them to make me do something cowardly, but it's very easy for them to make me do something brave, like say, fuck it, you're strong as an ox, do some push-ups.
Yep.
So you have to be very careful with the friends you have around you. If your friends are going to be so easily manipulatable that they're going to fall for everything the mainstream media says, I would say that you don't need friends like that. You need to find friends who are not like that. And then if you're sitting there and you find yourself lonely, that's because the kind of men who resist slave programming don't look at you and find you valuable. And once again, whose fault is that? That is completely and utterly your fault. It's amazing how much control and autonomy you have over your own life as a man. That's the most beautiful thing about it. I was talking to a girl the other day, and she was absolutely and utterly gorgeous, and she said that, yeah, being a girl's easy. I love being a girl. And I said, I would hate an easy life. I think being a beautiful girl is easy, but to me, that sounds torturous. I can't imagine anything more mind-numbing and boring.
It's true, like, to be honest, before me having this journey and really wanting to be the best, the strongest, the more muscular, the fastest, my life was not that good. It was was from sometimes, a lot of times bad. And but the time it wasn't bad was not cool. Now, for the first time, I'm going for a purpose for some months, and it's cool, it's exciting. Yeah, like a boring life, an easy life is not, it's not, it's not cool at all, yo. But I never had the easy life, to be honest, so it might be different, I don't know.
Than being a super hot chick. Not to disrespect them, I'm just saying that I am so addicted and so accustomed to constant struggle and war that the idea of living without it is almost daunting to me because I don't see the point in being alive. What are you doing then? Waking up, were you just smiling all day, eating Happy Meals, doing your makeup? Is that it? Where's the struggle? And this is from a man who's literally just got out of jail and is looking at a bunch more jail he doesn't deserve, which is a struggle, both physical and mental.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going,
Guys, I need to go, to be honest. Tomorrow I have work and stuff. But I hope you guys enjoy it and release video. And yeah, like, hope you guys enjoy it, man. Learn something. See y'all. Bye.